Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that doesn't know a lot of good things about Switzerland, but I can tell you that flag is a big plus. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Tiny Towns from AEG. In Tiny Towns from AEG, 1 to 6 players is going to attempt to build the greatest tiny town of all the tiny towns. I prefer to think of them as miniature cities. Each player is going to receive their own square player board, which is a grid where they will be building their tiny town. Now, a bunch of cards will be placed out to say what kind of buildings you can build in your tiny town. These cards will say what the building is, what resources are needed to construct it, and in what configurations those resources need to be in order to build that building. Players will also receive a monument card, which is a special building that only they can build. Each player will take turns being the master builder. The master builder will get the master builder token. Now, the master builder will be in charge of the resources on his turn. These resources include things like stone, wood, wheat, brick, glass, these sorts of things. And what's going to happen is, on his turn, he's going to say, we're going to put out this resource. He names the resource, so everybody takes one of those resources and puts it somewhere on his board.
Alright, I'm going to do blue.
Then the Master Builder token goes to the next person, and they go ahead and they declare which building, which resource will be put out on the board, and you keep going. Now, as soon as a player can build one of the buildings, he's laid out the correct resources in the correct order, he goes ahead and can place that particular building on one of those squares. All of the resource icons go away, but the building goes on one of those squares where the resource icons were located. You're trying to build these various buildings because they give you certain points at the end of the game. Different buildings do different things. But, for instance, you want to build up cottages. That's where people live. But you want them to be fed, too, so you need to build farms. And essentially you can have one farm feeds 4 cottages. So you want to kind of keep those things in mind. But you've got wells that when they're adjacent to cottages, they score points. And you put some buildings next to other buildings, they score points. And there's all sorts of different things that are going to happen when these come out. They're going to allow you to score. Now, of course, you've got your secret monument. You go ahead, you build that monument according to your own instructions, and then that's out there, and then that lets you do certain things, or it will help you score at the end of the game. So you go ahead, you're going around and around, you're building your tiny town, you're taking turns, putting out those resources, and then eventually what's going to happen is you will find that you can't put any more resources out, or you can't build anything more, and you're kind of stuck, so you choose to end, or rather you're forced to end building your tiny town. As soon as everybody has finished building their tiny town, then the game is over, and you proceed to the scoring phase. You look and see, of course, what buildings get you what your monument does for you, and whoever has the highest score wins Tiny Towns. So Tiny Towns is a light resource management Euro game, and it's a pretty easy game to learn. It's not at all hard to learn and to teach, and of course there's some real competition here. There's some real competition here as you are trying to kind of Tetris the thing in order to work for you as best as it can. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun trying to get the right combination at the right time of cubes. And then when somebody calls out a cube you don't want, well, where do I put this? How can I use it to maximize something later? And so you're always trying to make these decisions. You're always trying to kind of, you're kind of stuck there. And what's the best thing to do? It's not always going to go the way you want it to, and your town is not always going to look the way you want. You're thinking, okay, well, I'll just build, a lot of these and a lot of that, but then just with the resources coming out, somebody else is trying to build something else. You've got to put it somewhere. You may not be able to use those resources at any time soon. So where do you put them? And it's aggravating, but it's fun. And then how to make the most out of those resources you placed later. And it's really easy to get stuck. It's really easy to get into corners here and think, oh crap, I just did that wrong. I built the building I want, but I put it in the wrong place. Or there's this and there's that. And it's just there's a lot of calculation in this game. There's a lot of decisions in this game. Like I say, it's an easy game to learn, easy game to play, but it's strategic, and there's tough decisions, and I like it. Like I say, it's a resource management light Euro game that is, I think, a lot of fun. People are really going to get a kick out of this. Recommendation for Tiny Towns from AEG is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And have you ever heard the one about the bear that went into the bar? He walks right up to the bartender and he says, "Yeah, bartender, I want a whiskey and cola." And the bartender says, "Well, sure, I'll get you a whiskey and a cola, but why the big paws?" And the bear said, "I don't know, I was just born with them."